Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Jackpot Set the Reel from Janda Games. Jackpot Set the Reel is a slot machine themed hand building game in which players are trying to play out their hand in the correct sequence in order to slowly upgrade, gain points, build better hands, and ultimately be the player who's winning the game. The basic idea of the game is you're going to start with a prefabricated hand of cards. There are different hands for the players based on the poker chip in the bottom corner. You're going to shuffle your hand, and then once your hand is shuffled, you can't change that order. From there, on your turn, you can take a bunch of actions. The main action you're going to be doing is playing a hand of 3 cards that are adjacent to each other. So for example, in this hand right now, I'm going to go ahead and choose to play this combo over here. And I'll show you why I'm choosing that combo, but the main thing you have to realize is that you can't arrange your hand. You are trying to have 3 of a kind in a row, which means I'm currently looking at these 2 bells that I started with. I have 1 more bell here, although I will have to upgrade that. And right now, I'm going to play these 3 because it's going to allow me to do the following. When I play those 3 cards, the first thing it does is it makes sure that these 3 cards are now next to each other in my hand. Sequence is everything in this game. The way you build your hand will matter a lot. Those 3 cards are going to go in front of me in the order that they were arranged in the hand. They're going to start my own row, which is going to determine my points, my income at the end of the round. But then you're going to look to see what you built. The first rule is that if you started with a gray card to the left, you're going to get nothing out of it. That's an inactive card. You don't want to play those, at least as infrequently as you can get to. From there, you look at the cards you have. In this case, while I do have 2 cherries, this one is not yet upgraded, which means it counts for nothing. So effectively, I have 1 cherry, which is going to give me a single solitary coin. The good news is, for my purposes, that's all I currently need. From there, you're going to have choices. You continue to have choices in this game. You're going to have choices to buy cards as well as upgrade cards and play cards. Buying cards means you look at the cards on the table, you look at the cost at the bottom, 4, 4, 7, 4, 4, and you can buy those cards, adding to your hand, replacing another card. Those cards are better, stronger, they have more coins in them, they have better upgrade options. It's helpful to buy cards. You can also upgrade cards. You look at the upgrade cost on the sidebar of a card, you pay that cost and upgrade those. I only have 1 coin. I was a starting player, which means I started with no extra coins. So I have this 1 solitary coin, and the problem with that is I need 2 coins to upgrade that. So I'm going to play this set next. This set is again going to go to my tableau over here, slowly placing them out. We are trying to line up the income on these rows because at the end of the round, you're going to choose 1 column and get that many coins from the center of those cards. So right now, I'd be getting 2 coins if I chose this column here. But again, I'm doing a single set. That gives me 1 more coin because I only have, again, same problem. If I could upgrade this, that'd be great, but I can't, so I'm going to take that one. But now, for my 3rd turn, I have the opportunity to go ahead and upgrade this card. By the way, this is a dangerous hand. There's choices in this game, left, right, and center. The way this hand happened to play out, by doing what I'm doing, I'm going to lose the 7, and you don't want to lose the 7s. But I'm going to pay the upgrade cost. That's going to be these 2 coins. I'm going to upgrade that bell, and now I can play these for my last hand. Unfortunately, there's no coin over there, but there is a star, so I'm going to be able to get that income instead. So I'm starting to build up my points even further, and I've done 3 of a kind, which means I can take this, which is worth 5 points. This card over here, you can have a different number of these based on the player count, but right now I got the top one, which is going to be worth 5 points. The next person down is only getting 3 points, which is, quite frankly, not as good, because that's how points work. So we're going to take this one over here, we're going to take these 5 points, we're going to put it in front of us over here. We have our 5 points. We're going to gain, well, actually 1 second, before we do that, we are going to now, at the end of the round, you pass your last card to another player, and you take whatever card they had from them, and you can put it into any column you want. At the beginning of the game, you're usually going to be getting cards that are actually worth nothing, because they haven't been upgraded, but sometimes it works out that you get a nice card over here. This can help my hand, as we'll play through it in a second. And then right now, unfortunately, I had to pass that 7 off to somebody else. It's not good to pass off your 7s because 7s are going to be how you get these jackpots worth an absolute ton of points. That's going to be a basic round. We built out this. You saw us get income twice. You saw us get a full scoring because we got 3 of a kind. We got those bells going. If you ever get 2 of a kind, meaning if we had a bell, for example, over here, if that was our play, then you would get a bonus chip instead. Bonus chips come with a variety of options, from getting 3 coins, getting an upgrade and points, doubling actions. There's a bunch of bonus chips you can get. Those will give you extra things that are better than a coin, but not quite as good as a whole bunch of points. At the end of the round, we look at our row over here. We're going to take our 3 income from that. That's going to give us some points we can use to buy some cards, and then we're going to take the income point as well, giving us that, which means currently we are at 6 points. That's the basic way a hand of Jackpot Set the Reel is going to play out. You're going to be playing your hand. You always have a hand of 10 cards. It's always going to be 10. You're going to play sets of 3 while choosing to upgrade and add more cards, which can totally rearrange the order of your hand by doing so. The sequence of how you play your cards, as well as buying cards or upgrading cards, completely changes the nature of your hand, allowing you to work your way towards better hands as you try to get the smorgasbord of points on the table. There's a whole bunch of other things. There's going to be points over here. For example, if we flip this guy over here, we're going to get a 7-point card. That can be incredibly powerful, and ultimately you're trying to work your way up to 35 points. Once a player has achieved 35 points through their in-game cards, their bonuses, through everything they have, that will trigger endgame. You'll see who has the most points, and that is going to be the winner of Jackpot Set the Reel. Which leaves my review of what I like, don't like, conceal is not liking, all of that, and I'll start with what I like, which is, I don't even know if this goes in the category of what I like, but I like this game more than I thought I would. The poker theme, again, we're kind of going out of order here. The poker theme, the slot machine theme, the gambling theme, that doesn't really do it for me. Didn't really pull me in. I mean, it's very colorful, it's very shiny, but it wasn't pulled in by the theme of it. But the actual gameplay, is very strategic. This is back to where we actually like things. The gameplay is very strategic in the sense that you have to choose the sequence of cards, and there's frequently trade-offs. Even in that first hand, the fact that the choices I had, I can get one of these in round 1, which is pretty strong, by the way. We're getting these in round 2, already pretty easy. Round 1, it's possible, but you definitely have to work your way towards it, and in my case, working my way towards it meant passing off a 7 to another player, which just is a bad move. I don't think that's a good thing. I would try to avoid that, but the flip side is I got a bunch of points and I'm building up my hand. One thing I should talk about, because it goes in the category of what I like, is the way you reorder your hand at the end of the round. At the end of each round, you're going to look at the sequence that you play, and this can also, when you're playing at a higher level, once you have a few games under your belt, you'll start taking this into account as you play your orders as well. But at first, just let it happen. You'll see it'll start coming to you as you play through it more. But at the end of the round, the way you reorder your hand is you pick piles, stacking them on top of each other, and just trying to think through how that's going to hurt you the least. So for example, I think I'm going to intentionally I'm going to take these over here, I'm going to stack them on top of there, and I'll explain why in a second. And I'm going to take these over here, and these, I don't think there's a good way to put these. I'm just going to put these over here. That's going to create the order of my next hand. And the reason I chose to do that is because once we splay those out over here, you'll see that by doing this, I have the opportunity to, on a future turn, as soon as I get a coin, let's actually play through a round over here. Let's play through another few options over here so I can show you what I would do. I think I'm going to play these. I'm not going to overthink this because I'm trying to, it's going to be harder than I thought. Well, the goal, I don't think it's going to work as well as I want. I might have to make a harder choice. But the goal that I was working towards is the idea that I would be able to play this out, gain another coin, and through that, you then spend these 4 coins to buy this upgraded card and put this over here and get rid of that cherry, which would be great. The only downside is I still have to upgrade this, which means I need 3 more coins, and I don't think I can get 3 more coins because this is only going to give me 1 coin. So I don't think I was able to do what I wanted. But that sequence of rearranging your hand, the fact that you can plan towards that as well, that is also very fun as far as the strategy of it. The choices of upgrading cards, the choices of which bonus tokens, the choices of whether to buy new cards or to work your way towards building your tableau or points. Even that is an early game choice you have to make. If you can get 5 points, it's a big deal because you're only going towards 35 points. But is it better to get a slightly better hand so you can work your way up towards being able to get 2 sets next turn or 3 sets the turn after that? There's a lot of decisions around whether you focus on the economy or the tableau. There's a lot of choices around how you actually build out your hand and the trade-offs you have. Are you focusing on bonus tokens, on those sets? Or what cards are you going to pass off to your opponent? How are you focusing on the setting up for the next round and the ordering of those cards? This is a thinkier game than you would think. Based off of just looking at the game and seeing people play it. There's a lot of decision space around it, and it's a very satisfying decision space. It's, again, much more satisfying than I thought it was going to be heading into this one. As far as what I don't like about the game, I'll say there's 2 primary things. The first thing is the theme doesn't do it for me at all. I think I would like even this game. The theme works. The theme kind of works for the game. That's the downside because you're playing the slot machine. Like, it does work. But I think I'd probably prefer this game with a different theme in general. I just don't know if I care for a gambling theme. It doesn't pull me into the game. But so the theme in general didn't pull me in. The cards are also very, what's the right word for it? Busy. The cards are very busy overall. Yes, it's functional. It gives you all the information you need. And in a second, I'm about to complain about the information that's a little hard to see. But in general, it is a busy game. There's a lot going on in the game, and that goes on towards the cards where you're looking at the upgrade sides, which is nice that they have it so you can see on both sides. Like, it is nice. The information is all there, but at the end of the day, it's a busy looking card. And then lastly, I'll say just adding up your points frequently. And again, not the biggest deal, but the adding up your points on a regular basis to see, are you at 35? Have you crossed that threshold? I wish it was like, maybe there's, and I don't know if the final game will have. I should say this is a prototype. All rules, components, subject to change, and there will be a link to the crowdfunding campaign down below. so I don't know what's in the final game, but ideally a point tracker would be nice because it depends. Well, I guess you could argue. I guess the tricky part is this. When you're playing a game like Catan and you're working your way up to a secret 10 points, counting up to 10, not the biggest deal. When you're working up to 40 points or 35 points, as this game is, having a public point tracker does mean you don't have to constantly recheck your points. But constantly counting up to 35, it's not the biggest deal. It really isn't. I can count to 35. But doing so is slightly annoying when you're like constantly checking this. I don't know. It feels, again, minor annoyance, but for a short, accessible filler game, the constant counting is a small, minor annoyance. As far as what I can see others not liking, as much as there's a lot of strategy to how you build your hand, whether you focus on Tableau or the economy, whether you focus on points, I should say Tableau is economy, whether you focus on Tableau or points, there's a lot of decisions you're making in this game, and it does feel satisfying to build out towards a good sequence. At the end of the day, the way the cards play out, especially that starting hand, can make a big difference in how the game begins. And so you might be starting off, which as the game goes on, you have more agency because you're not just controlling for what you play right now, but the sequence of how you build up towards your next hand. But that starting hand does have a big impact, and because it's a game in which you build up your tableau, and that has cascading benefits across the course of the game, a starting bad hand is going to set you a little further back than a starting good hand, and there's only so much control you have over that. So while there is a lot of strategy and decision space, there is also a lot of luck, and that luck comes at the worst time, at the very beginning of the game where it has a cascading ripple effect. As far as final thoughts on Jackpots at the Reel, this is a slightly hard one. This is one of those times, like, I have a 5-point rating scale, well, a 10-point rating scale if you count those 0.5s. This is one of those times that I wish I had a bit more nuance to the game, because I feel that giving this a 4 is a little higher than I feel about it, and I feel like giving it a 3.5 is selling it a little short. So in your own imaginary construct of where I'm rating this, I would be probably rating this as a 3.75, but when that happens, because I have a rating scale based on not 3.75s, I am going to go down to a 3.5, but like I do want to make it clear, I almost feel that's selling the game a drop short. I do really like Jackpots at the Reel. The hand management is kind of satisfying. Not kind of. The hand management is really, really satisfying. One of my bigger concerns is that long-term replayability. How variable is the game? And there's lots of things you could do that. You could have variable scoring goals, and I haven't even looked at the crowdfunding page. I don't actually know what they have there as far as other stuff. But things that give you variable scoring goals, different bonus tokens in play, and some that you saw in different games. There's things you could do to make this a bit more variable. The variable starting hands isn't going to make a big difference there. So overall, I really enjoy this one. It's a solid game. It's a satisfying little combo puzzle with some things that hold it back from being higher. As far as other game recommendations, definitely check out Scout. If you're looking for a hand management game where every little bit about your hand is important, check out Scout for a game in which you have to be mindful of that as well. And then similarly, a new one that I just found that does the same kind of hand management puzzle is Jungo. From the same people who bought you Trio, Jungo also has a bit of a hand management as you try to figure out which is the right order to play your cards to optimize towards the wind. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.